My name is Sally Dickinson, and I am here with Dr. Harry Holcomb. It is November 7th, 2007, and we are going to be doing the interview of Miss Lola Doughty. The interview is taking place at Miss Doughty's house in Exmoor, Virginia. Miss Doughty, will you tell us your full name, including your maiden name and your date of birth?
Yes. Lola Hydron Smith Doughty. And the date of birth is 1914.
Okay.
Now what else?
Well, we wanted to hear about your life growing up on Hog Island, and wanted to get some of your thoughts and memories of that. Tell me where you were born first.
Well, at the bottom of Bell's Neck, but I don't know what they would call it. And my mother, of course, she had 6 children, but she always come off on the island to have her babies. And she went to Aunt Kate's to have me. And a snowstorm come up, and she had to stay there longer than she wanted to. But she got back home with me.
What number? So you said there were 6 children in your family. What number were you in the order?
3rd.
You're 3rd.
I have a half sister. I did have. She passed away, I guess 4 years ago. She was 90. No, she was 89. And then I had a brother. He was 70-some. And then the brother that lived over here, he's been dead about 10 years. I took care of him.
Can you give us their names?
Yeah. His name was Edgar Smith, and the oldest boy was Theodore. And his daughter, he had 1 daughter and 1 son. And his daughter lives with Willis's War, my niece, and her husband. And then I had 2 younger brothers, younger than me. Arnold Smith and Jack. Well, his name was Ellsworth, but he always went with the name of Jack Smith. And they were young when they died, and all of them had heart condition. Of course, I had it too, but so far mine hadn't bothered me too much. Dr. Dickinson keeps me going.
Right.
Now, my mother, I guess, was born on Hog Island, but my daddy wasn't.
Where was he born?
He was born up north somewhere. And then he moved down here, him and his mother, and a brother, George. I think he was around Bird's Nest they lived. And my daddy come on the island to work. And that's how my mother met him.
What type of work did he do? What type of work did he come out to Hog Island to do?
Oh, well, same thing everybody did, work on the water. Either at one time they shucked scallops. They caught scallops, and they shucked them. And my daddy, he worked on oysters, and he brought them into Willis's Wharf and sold them. And it was a happy time over there. We all enjoyed it. I hated to move, but I had a sister-in-law. She said it was nothing. She didn't come from Hog Island either. Nothing like Hog Island. We were better off over there. I said, don't tell me. We got lights over here. We got a washing machine. We had to do that on my hands. I mean, on the board. But everybody knew everybody, and they kind of looked out for everybody, you know, that needed help.
I want to hear more about your memories of growing up there, but first let me go back a little bit about, you mentioned your mom was born on Hog Island, so do you know any more about your ancestors, like perhaps your grandparents? Or
Yes, I had a grandmother. I don't think she was born on the island, but my granddaddy was her husband, and he was a lighthouse keeper and moved around. She always lived on the island. Now let's see, was there any more? Oh, his mother, but I don't remember her.
Mm-hmm.
Only to hear him talk about her. Mm-hmm. Ada.
What did he say? Do you remember anything? Your grandfather? No, he was the lighthouse keeper. Did he? Did you ever? Like, do you know anything about his job or his life, or did he share anything?
No, he had a good life, but his wife was so tight, he didn't enjoy it too much.
Mm.
And the last time, I guess that he was in Old Point Lighthouse, and we went to visit him, three of the grandchildren, and he always wanted to go to the store and get apples and oranges and candy, and she was so tight she didn't want him. Mm. And she moved over there with him. Now, she didn't go everywhere with him. She lived on the island, and he would go. He was up Baltimore one time. I guess it was like the service. They sent them wherever they were needed.
Mm-hmm. And what was it? Would that been in the mid to late 1800s? Was when he was working, or?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What was his name?
James Simpson.
James Simpson.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And he was born on Hog Island. His mother was born on there, I guess. She lived on there anyway. And her husband, which James Simpson's daddy, he come there on a boat. And, of course, he married her, and James was born. And then he got dissatisfied. He wanted to go back to his home. So she sold a sheep to send him back home. And he got married back there. And he didn't know, his wife didn't know that he had been married or had a child until he was on his deathbed. And the children, he had several children. I know one of them's name was Ben, because he's been here. They visited after they found out And but Grandpa Simpson, he died before his wife did. And she used to come home every day to look. My mother had a Victrola. She got programs every afternoon, and Grandma Simpson would come and listen to them. She was a cripple. She broke her hip, and I guess in those days they didn't do anything about it. She limped a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then, as I grew up, I married, and I had Peggy, my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and she was born on the island. Now, I wasn't. My mother always come off to have her babies.
That was pretty typical, wasn't it? From what I'm learning is a lot of the women did go off the island to have babies, or had a midwife.
No, they had. My mother delivered quite a few babies.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to go on picnics in the woods, the women and the children. And, of course, Peggy was only about 5 years old when I moved off. And I moved to Ulysses Wharf with my mother.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back to hearing some. I want to know more about your childhood and growing up. Did you go to? Tell me about your the schooling out on Hog Island, and what.
Well, we only had. It was only elementary school on that, and we had a church. We went to church every Sunday afternoon. And I did have a picture of the school and the teachers and all the, but some way or another my pictures just got lost.
Would all the children be together in one classroom, or were you
two classrooms? Two
classrooms, so lower grades and.
And two teachers. And my brother that lived over here, he married one of the teachers.
Oh, is that Mildred Smith?
Yeah.
Okay, I see. I remember a picture of her hanging at the Barrier Island Center. So, all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was Mildred.
Did you have did you have chores? Were the children, were expected to help out with your mom and grandmom, or do you remember as a child, or?
No. The children, when they moved from the island, were so young that, the grandparents moved first. My mother moved first, and Daddy. But my daddy didn't live too long after he moved. And the house now is down in Willis's Wharf that they moved off, and they put the house on barges and moved them. And my mother stayed right on in the house and cooked meals when they had to stop. And I don't know. I just moved off. I didn't have no house. I mean, I had a house, but I rented.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you all know? I from hearing other people's stories, the movement off of Hog Island was over many years, and so it wasn't a sudden exodus of people.
No.
So when did you all do you remember when it all became apparent that you might all have to move this community eventually?
Yeah, in 33, we had a bad storm. And, well, nobody moved then. I think we moved in 37. And we weren't the last ones to move, but my mother and daddy, they moved earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And because they moved their house, they owned their house and they moved it.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that? Do you remember watching that when they moved the house?
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, they put it on rollers and just moved it right on a barge. Maybe they had 2 barges. It depended on the house. And they moved it to Willis's Wharf, and then they just rolled it right over where the lot was that they had bought, and anchored it there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way everybody, they helped each other move.
Mm-hmm. How many men would it take would be involved in the process of moving a house, like putting it on rollers and?
Well, my 2 brothers was old enough to help.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember who else.
Mm-hmm.
And they put them on barges, and then they had a boat that they pulled the barge with. I remember that.
Like a tugboat?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they worked. The men worked. They had boats they worked down in the bay with. And I guess maybe everybody had their house moved.
What about social activities?
Oh,
what did you all do?
We had a big time.
Uh-huh.
We went from house to house making fudge, and I remember one night the parents, the Simpsons, they used to go over on the island, another island, to work. But that night, the girls all stayed home. It was no boys.
Mm-hmm.
And we cooked eels. And then after we got through with the eels, after we cooked them,
Mm-hmm.
of course I love eels, and we put the bones on the table to see who had to eat the most. Now, I was single then, and but we'd go wherever the parents wasn't there. We'd go and make candy. And one night we made taffy. I can see that boy laughing now. He was a bell boy. And we were to his house. And we had the taffy in the window, cooling, before we pulled it. And the cat jumped up in the window and capsized the taffy on the cat. And I can see Happy Bell laughing now. But we used to go on picnics.
Tell me about those.
Oh, the only thing I can remember about a picnic is the day I weaned my baby.
Tell me about that.
I breastfed her.
Mm-hmm.
And I painted my breast and my thigh. And when she wanted a nurse, of
Now,
course,
what's that? What's nathiolate?
it's a medicine that everybody used to use on sores.
Oh,
It
oh,
was
oh, oh.
red.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Antiseptic.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Uh-huh. She wouldn't have it.
Yeah. Right.
No, I'd pull that breast out and she'd look at it. And she was 16 months old when I weaned her.
Mm-hmm.
But she wouldn't have that breast.
Mm.
And I weaned her. My mother had cows. She had milk cows.
Mm-hmm.
And she milked the cows and sold the milk. So Peggy went from my breast to the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And she was right good size when she gave up the bottle. I mean, it was just plain cow's milk, so I let her have it.
Right. Right.
And but she got abscess in her throat, and I had to bring her off to the doctor. And of course, I went to my aunt's at Willis's Wharf, and the doctor come up there, and he was from Franktown, and he was an old doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He charged $3 to come from Franktown
Right.
up there. But it broke before he got there. The abscess broke. And then she started eating food and she gave up her bottle.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd make fudge and taffy and
One thing I'm curious about is about music out there. I love music, and I'm real interested in that topic. About what?
oh
and
yeah, we had music. We had fiddle. They called it fiddle then. I don't know what it was like, but dancing, and we danced, and then sometimes they would have a ice cream social, sell ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
and they would. That was for the church, because the preacher was always there. But we had a big time. And one night, it was a fella that drank quite a bit on there. And he wasn't from Hog Island, but he married a girl over there. And Walter Carroll. Well, this dance was going on, and Walter Carroll come in. I think he had a knife. Anyway, we all got scared of him and run out, and it was one of the servicemen that really wasn't supposed to be there, but he had his uniform on, and he was there. He went out the window and tore his uniform, and but we all got out safe. And that was a great grown people was there too. Of course, I was married, and Hilda Simpson, which she passed away not too long ago,
That's nice.
and we started through the woods. We were going to hide, I guess, and one of the girls from Arster they moved to Arster, Dorothy Bell. I can hear her now hollering, "Mommy, Mom!" She'd lost her mother.
Oh.
So, but he didn't hurt nobody.
Right. When you were growing up on the island, how often would you come to the mainland? Would it be just
Not too
Not
often. Now, my mother would bring me off sometimes and go shopping. Glick had a store in Exmoor. We didn't get no further than Exmoor. And it would be a mailman that would take you out, more or less taxi, I guess. But he would meet the mail boat. We'd go on the mail boat and go shopping and then go back.
that must have been that was a big trip, a big
Oh,
event?
yes, yeah. Uh-huh. Of course, my mother made most of my clothes, but if it was something special that I wanted, why, she'd come off and, if they had the money, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Money was scarce, but we always had something to eat, a place to stay. Of course, I never did leave home when I got married.
Tell me about meeting your husband and your courtship and what. How old were you?
He was it was Lola Doughty, and we used to go down to the beach and Big Hill, we called it. It was an awful big hill. That's why we went Easter Sunday and rolled our Easter eggs when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I guess he wasn't the only one. I used to date Burley Bell. Yeah. But nobody knew I was dating. I was young.
And did you get married on Hog Island?
No.
No.
No. Ours' mother and daddy took Earl and myself up Princess Anne.
Oh, okay.
Now, Gloria, her sister, was a baby. So, I mean, she was a young baby.
Mm-hmm.
And we went up there, and then we come back to her grandmother's, Randolph's mother. And she had, I can see it now, this great big thing of fried chicken. And they lived in Cape Charles. So we spent the night there, and then we come back next day on the boat, and I went up to his people. We had dinner up there, and then I went down home.
Mm-hmm.
And my daddy said, "What are your plans?" I said, "I don't know. I don't have any." He said, "Well, I want you all to come here." So we went back to my mother and daddy's, and that's where we stayed.
Mm-hmm. How old were you when you got married?
18.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty typical age to get married.
Yeah,
That kind of the
yeah.
average back then. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I got married, and 13 months later, I had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was my daddy. He loved that child to death.
Oh.
See, that was the first grandchild.
Mm-hmm. That's special. Did you have your baby
On the island.
on the island? Okay.
And my mother she didn't have me on the island.
That's right. Okay.
But she come off to have her babies. But I stayed right there.
Mm-hmm. Did a midwife come and help, or just
No,
other
no.
women?
Dr.
Came.
Sturgis.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And he come, but he had to eat for you. And mine had cooked this drumfish and strawberries. That's what she had. And because she told me, she says, you better eat all you can eat, because after the baby's born, you can't have fried fish or strawberries. But I was in too much pain to eat. Anyway, my older sister, she was there. And Aunt Fanny, my mother's sister, she come. Well, anyway, my mother gave me chloroform or something to ease the pain. My pain was in my back, and they had to hold me on the bed, two of them, Aunt Fanny and my sister. Of course, she was grown. She was older than me. But after a while, Peggy was born. If I'd been on over here, it would have been a cesarean, because I was a long time in labor.
Mm-hmm.
But doctor, after he come in and stayed with me. Then he come back in 10 days. He said, where I tore a little bit, he would come back and check it. And he come back. He loved to come on the island. Now, some doctors, Dr. Mears, he wouldn't come on the island.
Why? It was too far, or what?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I was going to him at first, and because it was close by,
Mm-hmm.
and but he said he wouldn't come on the island. So then I switched to Dr. Sturgis.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my sister-in-law was there. Oh, it was a house full of women in the room with me. And when she was born, she says, oh, it's a red-headed girl. I remember her saying that.
Happy day.
And it was. She had red hair. And, of course, mine was red, too. And my grandson's is red.
Oh.
Of course, his is white now. He keeps it cut short.
Mm-hmm.
He is 54. He'll be 54 in March. And I'll be 74. I'll be 74.
And we're you're 90. Is it 94?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And my baby, my Peggy will be in May. She will be 74. And I'll be 94.
Right. Tell me about holidays growing up. Like, tell me about Christmas. What would you do out on the island to celebrate Christmas?
We'd go in the woods and get a Christmas tree. Now, we didn't have that Christmas tree trimmed until all the children went to bed.
On Christmas Eve.
Uh-huh. Santa Claus would trim the tree, and we would have a stocking with orange and an apple and nuts and a toy. I'd have a doll baby, and the boys would have something but we didn't have a whole lot. Just, I'd get a doll baby. And we'd have a big dinner. And Christmas Day at morning, I can smell them now. My mother would have to cook chitlins and chitlins and pig feet. See, they raised pigs, and I mean, they had their own pig feet. That was my daddy's breakfast. Nobody eat it but him, and he'd be half drunk. And but anyway, she'd cook it for him, and then she'd cook a big meal for the children. They used to have, and my daddy would eat possum. He'd catch a possum and put it in a barrel and cleanse it out, and then he'd kill it and skin it. But we didn't eat that. I guess in his day, he took care of his mother, and they come from, I think they lived around Bird's Nest, and I guess they were poor, and they eat whatever they could get. But we always had plenty to eat. Even in Depression, we'd eat a lot of beans and corned beef hash and seafood. And I love seafood now. Clams, and we shuck scallops. I shuck scallops too. But we don't get no fresh scallops now. My nephew, he asked me the other day, that's David, did I like scallops? I said, yeah. He said, I got some. I'll give you a package. I said, David, where would you get scallops? And it was his half-brother was working on this scallop boat, and he brought him some scallops. And he said, I vacuum packed them, and when you open them, they're just like fresh scallops. So Sunday, I was telling Peggy about it, and she says, well, I'm going to make him a pie. His wife made him a pie, but he said a potato pie, but he said it tastes like a pumpkin pie. She had all kind of spices in this potato pie. So Peggy said, Peggy said, I'll make him a pie.
I'd like to ask you a couple of questions now. Your husband, did he grow up on Hog Island?
Yeah. And he went to service in the Coast Guard. Him and my brother went in at the same time, and they retired from the. My brother, he he retired when he'd been there 26 years.
Mhm.
But my husband, he retired earlier.
Did he have to go off the island to work, or could he work right on the island at the station there?
Oh no, he had to go off, and they had a Coast Guard station right there on the island. Because I know one night during the storm, I went down there, and he was on watch. So he said, up in the attic, they had watches. He said, if you can stay awake, I'll catch a nap. I went to sleep, he went to sleep, we missed the, see, you had to punch that clock ever so often. We didn't get it punched that night. And then after he retired, he didn't do anything. We separated.
Now, you were there for the 1933,
Yeah.
during the 1933 hurricane.
Uh-huh. I was there then.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes.
What you went through?
Yeah. He was home that night. And Peggy was a baby. He said he woke up and the tide, see, I lived on a hill, and then it was a sink, and then another hill. Not a big hill, but, and my chickens was over on this hill. He woke me up. He said, if you want to save your chickens, you better go out and get them. I put my bathing suit on, and I had to swim in that sink. And I'd get a chicken with feet, and I'd bring him in, put him in the house. So I got them all. I didn't lose any chickens. And he got ready. When the tide went down a little bit, he went back to station. And then I went up to my mother's with the baby. I believe my daddy come down and got her. But anyway, I went up there with them. And that's when I got scared. They were shoveling roots out the window. And they had put her cows in the porch. And they were cleaning up then. And I got upset about that. But I went on back home that night. No. It was we had another storm in 37. And I went to the station then. And it was, all the men were on watch. It was a house with a man, and they wanted to get him before, the house went away. They got him. And I think it was a death. A deaf and dumb man. Anyway, he was one on the island. Anyway, he was to the station. And it was several people. Anybody that wanted to go there for safety, could go. Or they went to the lighthouse. It was three houses, 3 brick houses where the lighthouse was. And they go there. And Milton Doughty and Lizzie Daddy. Now, they wasn't in a relation to us, I don't think. They sit and watch their house go right out with the sea and everything in it.
Hmm.
So that's when people started moving off. Uh-huh. The 33 storm, nobody moved, I don't think.
So you rode the 33 storm out at your mom and dad's house?
Yeah, uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Was your house all right, the one you stayed
Yeah.
in?
It just come in the house, the porch maybe was a little bit more, but just enough to mess up. I had to take the rug up and clean that, and we had linoleum rugs in. We didn't know what another rug was, of a kind. And that house that I lived in at that time is in Willis's Wharf now. The people sold it.
I'd like to go back to your household. You were married and you had a family, and you had chickens, and you must have had a garden too.
My daddy had a garden,
I see.
and I got all my vegetables from there.
I see.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what kinds of animals did you have? That you had
Oh,
to
I had a
take care of?
dog.
You had a dog.
Uh-huh. I don't know. I don't think. Maybe it was a dog that come there or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I have raised 6 dogs in this house.
Hmm.
And the last dog I raised, I told Dr. Dickinson, I've got a bad cough. And I said, I think it's a heart cough. He said, what makes you think that? And I said, well, I had a little dog that had heart trouble, and she coughed just like I do. But I can't tell you, at that time, I wasn't driving. They made me stop driving when I was 90. Well, my license run out when I was 90. And my doctor, Dr. Dickerson, no, not Dickerson. No, I went to him. Rayfield. She was my doctor, and she said, you can't drive anymore. Well, I'd drive over here to the store, or I'd go to the bank. See, I was doing my own work then. Now I can't do anything. Peggy comes down weekends, and she makes out my bills and goes to the store for me. She takes care of everything. And I saw her in the store one day, but Nicky was with me, so I could have laid it on him. That was my grandson. And she saw me in there, and I was thinking that she was going to fuss with me. But she didn't, because she thought it was Nicky's driving. And I never did. I stopped then. I said, no, it's not worth it. And he was here with me then. And he is a draftsman. And when he come out of college, he went to work. Not here, but different places that they needed him. And then, I don't know, I think it was about 19 years he worked at that. And then his daddy got bad off. And he said he lived in Norfolk in a trailer. And one of the family sent for Nicky to come home, take care of his daddy. So he come home, and he lived over there for about 3 years, I think. And then he said he had so much work to do to the trailer, and you're by yourself. If you would let us come to your house, and then he started cooking, and he said, I'll do all of the cooking and cleaning, and I cut grass.
Now, when living on the island, all the other people that you knew there, were most of them people that worked at the life-saving station?
No. They were they worked on the water. Mm-hmm. They had oysters or clams. When the scallops come, my daddy had scallops, and they hired people on the island to open scallops. And no, and they would, and the people at the Coast Guard station, they would be sent somewhere else. I hated to leave the island, but I was glad that I did. On the island, everybody knew everybody and was a big help to each other. And after I got over here, though, I didn't move here. I stayed with my mother, and my daddy didn't live too long after that. And I stayed until I bought this place.
Well, Miss Doughty, thank you so much for.
I've not done much.
You have. We've learned a lot, and it's been very, very interesting. Thank you.